The alarm bells rang through the giant space station called Nexus Prime, in the center of the galaxy. This station was home to the Galactic Council. For 800 years, peace had ruled the stars. The Hegemony Alliance made sure of that. Council. Prime Veltar looked at the emergency message on his screen. His 6 arms moved quickly across the control panel. As leader of the Galactic Council, he had seen many problems before. But this felt different. What do we know? Veltar asked. His voice made a clicking sound, like all his insect-like people did when they spoke. General Mordock stepped forward. The big reptile scales were dark green, and his yellow eyes glowed in the dim light. Our scouts found something at the edge of space, a transmission. It came from nowhere. Show me, Veltar said. The main screen lit up. Strange sounds filled the room. The transmission was full of static, but underneath was something else. Numbers, patterns, music that sounded almost familiar. Dr. Choi Hanna walked into the room. She was the best language expert in the galaxy. Her long black hair was tied back, and she carried a datapad in her hands. I've been working on this for 6 hours, she said. The math is advanced, very advanced. Can you read it? General Mordock asked. His voice was deep and rough. Some of it, Dr. Choi said. She touched her datapad, and the strange sounds became clearer. Listen to this part. A voice came through the speakers. It was clear now, speaking in a language no one had heard for 300 years. This is Captain Lee Taman of the Terran vessel Indomitable. We are coming to Nexus Prime. Get ready for contact. The room went quiet. Everyone stared at the speakers. Then General Mordock laughed, but it was not a happy sound. Impossible, he said. The humans are dead, we all know this. Counselor Joho stepped out of the shadows. He was an old member of the council, and his blue skin looked pale. No, he said quietly, they are not dead. All eyes turned to him. Veltar's clicking grew faster. What do you mean? I was there, Yoon said. His voice shook a little. 300 years ago when we sent them away. Sent them away? Dr. Choi asked. The history books say their planet was destroyed by a space storm. Yoon shook his head. That was a lie. We told that lie to keep peace. He walked to the center of the room. The humans were not destroyed. They were exiled. General Mordock's eyes grew wide. Why? Because they were dangerous, Yoon said. They fought us. They would not bow down to hegemony rule. So we gave them a choice. Leave forever, or die. And, they left, Veltar asked. They left, Yoon said, but they promised to return one day. Dr. Choi looked at her datapad again. The transmission gives location data. The ship is 3 days away from here. One ship, General Mordock asked. After 300 years, one ship. The energy readings are strange, Dr. Choi said. This ship is not like anything in our databases. It's ... bigger, much bigger. Ambassador Kim Dong-ho had been quiet until now. He was a member of the council who worked on peace talks, but his species was almost extinct now. Only 12 of his people were left alive. General, Kim said. My people used to trade with humans. Before the exile, they were not like other species. How so? Veltar asked. They never gave up, Kim said. Never. When they were hurt, they got stronger. When they were scared, they got braver. And when they were angry, he stopped talking. When they were angry, what? General Mordock demanded. They became something else, Kim said. Something terrible and wonderful at the same time. The alarm bells rang again. A new message appeared on the screen. Dr. Choi read it quickly. Long-range sensors have found the ship. She said it's huge, 10 times bigger than our largest battle cruiser. Weapons? General Mordock asked. Unknown, Dr. Choi said. The ship's hull is made of materials we don't recognize. Its energy output is impossible. Impossible how? Veltar asked. It's producing more power than our entire fleet, Dr. Choi said, but the readings say it's only using a tiny part of its real power. The room was quiet again. Then Counselor Yoon spoke. There is something else you should know, he said. The humans did not leave alone. What do you mean? Veltar asked. When we exiled them, other species went with them. Species that we had removed from the galaxy. Species we said were extinct. General Mordock stood up fast. His chair fell over. You mean they're alive? The Crichton, the Velmer, the Zephyrians, all of them, Yoon said, and more. The humans took them, protected them, gave them new homes. Dr. Choi's datapad beeped. She looked at it, and her face went white. What is it? Veltar asked. New transmission. She said, it's not from the ship. It's from ... everywhere. What do you mean, everywhere? The signal is coming from 47 different locations, Dr. Choi said, all around the galaxy. All at the same time, she played the new transmission. It was the same voice as before. Captain Lee Taman, attention Hegemony Alliance. This is Captain Lee Taman. We are not alone. We have been watching. We have been waiting. We know what you did. To us, to the others. The time for hiding is over. The transmission continued. We come in peace, but we come prepared for war. We offer you one chance, one choice. Face justice for your crimes, or face the consequences of your actions. General Mordock was breathing hard. How many ships? Dr. Choi looked at her readings. I can't tell. The signals are too strong. Too many. But General, what? Some of these signals are coming from inside hegemony space. They're already here. Veltar's clicking stopped completely. In the silence, everyone could hear their own heartbeats. How long until the ship arrives? He asked. 67 hours, Dr. Choi said. Send word to all hegemony fleets. General Mordock said full battle alert. General Ambassador Kim said quietly, I don't think our fleets will be enough. Why not? Mordock demanded. Kim looked at the data on the screen. Because the humans have had 300 years to get ready for this moment, and they never forgot what we did to them. The transmission ended with one final message. Brace yourself. A human warship is incoming, and the end has already begun. In the darkness of space, far from Nexus Prime, Captain Lee Taman stood on the bridge of the Indomitable. He looked at the stars ahead and smiled. It was not a kind smile. Helm, he said. Set course for Nexus Prime. Maximum speed. Yes, Captain, came the reply. Behind them, invisible to all sensors, 1,000 human ships followed in their wake. The exile was over. The reckoning had begun. 300 years ago, the planet Earth burned. Intelligence Officer Kong Minho sat in his dark office, reading the old reports. The files were marked top secret in red letters. Only 12 people in the galaxy knew the truth about what really happened to the humans. Now, that truth was coming back to haunt them. Computer, show me file 2087 Alpha. Kong said. The hologram appeared in front of him. It showed a blue and green planet covered in smoke and fire. Ships were leaving the atmosphere. In long lines, thousands of them. This is Admiral Vextar reporting, said a voice from the past. The human evacuation is complete. All major cities have been destroyed. The planet is no longer able to support life. Kong paused the recording. That was the official report, but he knew the real story. The hegemony had not destroyed Earth by accident. They had done it on purpose. Computer, show me file 2087 Beta. A new hologram appeared. This one showed the same planet, but before the destruction. Cities reached up to the sky. Ships moved between the stars. The humans had been building something beautiful. Human technology level. Advanced, said the computer voice. Threat level. Maximum. Kong remembered the stories his grandfather told him. Back then, the hegemony was not peaceful. They took what they wanted. They destroyed anyone who said no. Humans had said no. Sir. A voice came from behind him. Kong turned around. Dr. Bai Duggan stood in the doorway. She was the best scientist in the hegemony, and she looked scared. What did you find? Kong asked. Dr. Bai walked to his desk. She put down a data crystal. I studied the old human technology, the weapons they left behind when they ran away. Insert, their technology from 300 years ago is better than what we have today. Kong felt cold. Show me. Dr. Bai activated the crystal. Images filled the room. Ships, weapons, computers, all human-made. Look at this energy weapon, she said, pointing to a long metal tube. It can cut through our strongest armor like paper. And this shield generator, it can stop our best missiles. That was 300 years ago, Kong said. Surely we've gotten better since then. Dr. Bai shook her head. We've gotten comfortable. We stopped improving because we had no enemies. But the humans, if they survived, they've had 300 years to get better. Kong finished. Much better, Dr. Bai said, and they had a reason to improve. They wanted revenge. Kong activated his communication device. Get me General Mordock. The reptile's face appeared. On the screen, behind him, Kong could see the command center of Nexus Prime. Everyone was running around, looking busy and worried. What do you have for me? General Mordock asked. Bad news, Kang said. The humans were already stronger than us when they left. Now they've had 3 centuries to get even stronger. How much stronger? Dr. Bai stepped forward. General, I estimate their current technology is at least 50 years ahead of ours, maybe more. General Mordock's yellow eyes grew wide. 50 years. Sir, came another voice. Security Chief Ru Hyanwu appeared on screen next to the general. We have a problem. A big problem. What now? General Mordock asked. Long-range sensors have detected the human ship. It's not hiding, it's broadcasting its location to everyone. So, sir, nothing broadcasts its location unless it's not afraid of being attacked. Security Chief Ru said. This ship is not afraid of our entire fleet. Kong felt his stomach drop. Show me the sensor readings. Numbers filled his screen. He studied them for a moment, then looked up. This is impossible, he said. What General Mordock demanded. The ship's mass is over 50 million tons. Our biggest battlecruiser is 5 million tons. It's a cargo ship, General Mordock said. It has to be. Dr. Bai shook her head. No, General. Look at the energy signatures. This is a warship. The most powerful warship anyone has ever built. Security Chief Ru spoke again. Sir, there's more. We've detected other signals. Smaller ships, they're not broadcasting, but our best sensors can barely see them. How many? Kang asked. We're not sure. Maybe dozens, maybe hundreds. In the command center on Nexus Prime, strategist Han Jiwoo was studying star maps. She had been quiet for hours, but now she spoke up. General, she said, I've been thinking about this wrong. What do you mean? General Mordok asked. We're treating this like they're refugees coming home, but they're not refugees anymore. Then what are they? They're an invasion force, Han said. Look at the timing. They didn't send a message asking for permission to return. They sent a warning that they were coming. General Mordok was quiet for a moment. You think this is war? I think this was always going to be war, Han said. The question is, are we ready for it? Back in his office, Kong was reading more old files. What he found made his blood run. Cold computer, show me the exile ship manifests. Lists of names appeared. Thousands and thousands of names. How many humans were evacuated? He asked. 200,000. The computer replied. And how many other species went with them? Unknown. Records were classified and then deleted. Kong leaned back in his chair. The hegemony had told everyone that certain species had gone extinct. Natural disasters, they said, plagues, accidents. But what if that was not true? What if those species had been saved by the humans? He opened another file. This one showed a list of extinct species from the past 300 years. 40-7 species. Over 10 million beings, all supposedly dead. Computer, he said slowly. If these species were not extinct, if they were alive and had 300 years to grow, how many would there be now? The computer calculated. Estimated population, 500 million beings. Kong's hands were shaking. And if they all wanted revenge against the hegemony? Probability of successful resistance, 97%. On Nexus Prime, alarms were ringing again. Dr. Choi Hana ran to the communication center. Another transmission, she called out. This time, the voice was different, younger, a woman. This is Engineer Lim Sujin, of the Terran Exodus Fleet. 2. The beings of the galaxy who have suffered under hegemony rule. Your time of freedom is at hand. The message continued. For 300 years, we have built, we have grown, we have prepared. Not just humans, but all the children of the stars that the hegemony tried to erase. General Mordok grabbed the communication device. This is General Mordok, of the Hegemony Defense Force. You are entering restricted space. Turn back now. The response came immediately. It was Captain Lee Taemin's voice. General Mordok, we have a message for you from Commander Shin Woo-jin. General Mordok froze. He knew that name. Commander Shin Woo-jin had been the leader of the Human Defense Forces 300 years ago. The one who had fought them until the very end. Commander Shin is dead, General Mordok said. Yes, Captain Lee replied. He died 50 years ago. But before he died, he gave us a message for you. What message? He said to tell you that his grandson is coming to finish what you started. The transmission ended. In the silence that followed, General Mordok realized something terrible. Captain Lee Taemin was not just any human captain. He was the grandson of their greatest enemy, and he was coming home. Security Chief Rue stepped forward. Sir, new contacts on sensors. Multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace. How many? General Mordok asked. 10.20.50. Sir, I've lost count. There are too many. Through the windows of Nexus Prime, they could see lights in the darkness. Ships were appearing everywhere, surrounding the station. The exile was over. The reckoning had arrived. The space around Nexus Prime lit up like a festival of stars. One by one, ships appeared out of nowhere. Not the slow, clumsy arrival that hegemony ships made when they dropped out of hyperspace. These ships simply, appeared. Silent, perfect, deadly. Admiral Park So-young stood on the bridge of the Indomitable and smiled. Through the main window, she could see the hegemony fleet trying to form battle lines. It was like watching children play with toy soldiers. Commander Oh Sung-min, she said to her tactical officer. How many hegemony ships are out there? The young man checked his screens. 237, Admiral. All battle cruisers and destroyers. And how many ships do we have? In this system, 43. Admiral Park nodded. Good odds. Commander O looked confused. Admiral, they outnumber us 5-1. Yes, Admiral Park said. I almost feel sorry for them. On Nexus Prime, General Mordok was screaming orders at his fleet commanders. Form attack formation Omega. All ships target the large vessel. Prepare to fire. On my command, Fleet Admiral Chen Kungsu commanded the hegemony's biggest battle group. His voice came through the communication system. General, I must advise against attack. We don't know their capabilities. I don't care about their capabilities. General Mordok shouted. They are outnumbered. Attack. Sir, Security Chief Rue stepped forward. Maybe we should try talking first. General Mordok turned his yellow eyes on the security chief. Talk. They come here with warships and you want to talk. Before anyone could answer, All the screens in the command center lit up. Captain Lee Taemin's face appeared, calm and confident. "General Mordock," he said, "this is Captain Lee Taemin of the human vessel Indomitable. I request permission to approach Nexus Prime for diplomatic talks." General Mordock stepped in front of the camera. "You request. You come here with an invasion fleet and you request." Captain Lee smiled. It was not a nice smile. "General, you seem upset. Is there a problem?" "The problem is that you are criminals. Exiles. You have no right to be here." "Interesting," Captain Lee said. "Tell me, General, who decided we were criminals?" "The Galactic Council. 300 years ago." "Ah, yes." Captain Lee nodded. "The same council that told everyone we were dead. The same council that said 47 other species died from natural causes." General Mordock's scales turned a darker green. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Of course you don't," Captain Lee said. "Commander O, please show the General what we're talking about on the Indomitable." Commander O Sungmin touched his control panel. Every screen on Nexus Prime, every communication device in the Hegemony fleet, suddenly showed the same thing. Pictures, videos, reports, all the secret files about the species the Hegemony had destroyed. "As you can see," Captain Lee continued, "we know exactly what you did. To us, to the others. The question now is, what are you going to do about it?" General Mordock was shaking with rage. "Fleet Admiral Chen, fire, fire now." "Sir, I really think we should fire." Fleet Admiral Chen sighed. "All ships, target the large human vessel, fire, at will." 237 Hegemony ships opened fire at the same time. Energy beams, missiles, plasma cannons, everything they had. The space around the Indomitable lit up like a sun. The weapons hit the human ship and nothing happened. Indomitable sat in space, completely undamaged. Not even a scratch on its hull. "Impossible," General Mordock whispered. On the Indomitable chief engineer, Ko Yunji was laughing. "Admiral," she called out. "Their weapons tickled us. Should I put more power to the shields?" "No need," Admiral Park replied. "Weapons Officer Nam Hyung, please show them how we say hello." Weapons Officer Nam was a small woman, but her eyes were hard as stone. "With pleasure, Admiral." She touched one button on her control panel. One beam of energy shot out from the Indomitable. It was thin, precise, and beautiful. The beam split into 3 parts and touched 3 Hegemony cruisers. The 3 ships stopped moving. Their lights went out. Their engines went quiet. They were not destroyed, they were simply turned off. "There," Admiral Park said into the communication system. "Now we're even. 300 years ago, you destroyed 3 of our cities first. Now we've disabled 3 of your ships first." The Hegemony fleet was silent. No one fired again. Captain Lee's face appeared on screen again. "General Mordock, may I approach the station now, or would you like us to turn off more of your ships?" General Mordock looked around the command center. Everyone was staring at him, waiting for orders. "How?" he asked quietly. "How? What, General? How are you so strong? 300 years ago, you ran away. You were beaten." Captain Lee's expression grew cold. "We were not beaten, General. We chose to leave. Because we knew that if we stayed, we would have to destroy you completely. And now we're back. And we're going to give you the same choice you gave us." "What choice? Submit to justice, or be removed." On Nexus Prime, Ambassador Kim Dong-ho was reading the intelligence reports. His hands were shaking. "General," he said, "I've been studying their fleet composition." "What about it?" General Moore asked. "These ships They're not all human." Everyone turned to look at him. "What do you mean?" Council Prime Veltar asked. Ambassador Kim pointed to his screen. "Look at the designs. This ship has Crichton energy signatures. This one uses shield technology. This one has Zephyrian weapons." "Impossible," General Mordock said. "Those species are extinct." "No," Ambassador Kim said slowly. "They're not extinct. They're here, all of them." Communications officer on Yujin was monitoring all frequencies. Suddenly, she called out, "Admiral, incoming transmission from all human ships." "Put it through." Admiral Park said. 40-3 voices spoke at the same time. Human voices, but also others. Species that the galaxy thought were dead. "This is Commander Krytol of the Krytol Liberation Ship Morning Star. This is Captain Villana of the Velmer vessel Justice's Edge. This is Admiral Zephyrin of the Zephyrian fleet carrier, Last Hope." One by one, they announced themselves. The extinct species were alive, they were here, and they were armed for war. Captain Lee spoke again. "General Mordock, I believe you know some of these voices. They have messages for you." Commander Krytol's voice was like grinding stone. "General Mordock, you told the galaxy that my people died from a plague. You lied, you killed us. My children want to meet you." Captain Villana's voice was soft but deadly. "General, you said our world exploded from natural causes. But we remember the bombs you dropped. We remember everything." Admiral Zephyrin's voice was like winter wind. "Our people were artists, General. We painted beauty across the stars. You turned our worlds to ash. Now we paint with different colors. General Mordock collapsed into his chair. How many of you are there? Captain Lee answered. Enough, General. More than enough. What do you want? We want you to surrender. Peacefully. Face trial for your crimes. And if we refuse? The communication was quiet for a moment. Then Captain Lee spoke, and his voice was like the sound of a grave closing. General, we spent 300 years getting ready for this conversation. We hoped you would choose justice. But we prepared for war. You would attack civilians. We would do what you taught us to do. Captain Lee said, but we are better than you. We will give you 24 hours to decide. The transmission ended. In the silence that followed, Marine Captain Sung Byung-ho prepared his troops for battle, but he hoped he would not need them. On Nexus Prime, General Mordock looked at his officers. What do we do? He asked. No one had an answer. Outside the windows, the human fleet waited in perfect formation, patient, ready. The clock was ticking. The meeting room on Nexus Prime had never been so quiet. Ambassador Kim Dong-ho sat across from Captain Lee Taemin. Between them was a table made of crystal that showed the history of the galaxy. Today, that history was about to change forever. Thank you for agreeing to meet, Captain Lee said. His voice was calm, but his eyes were hard as steel. We had little choice, Ambassador Kim replied. Behind him sat the leaders of the Hegemony Council. They all looked afraid. Captain Lee smiled, but it was not a kind smile. There is always a choice, Ambassador. We learned that 300 years ago. Historian Lee Jun-ho entered the room, carrying a large data crystal. He was an old human, with gray hair and scars on his hands. He had spent his whole life keeping records of what the hegemony had done. May I? He asked, pointing to the crystal reader. Council Prime Veltar nodded. His 6 arms were shaking. The crystal activated, and the room filled with images. Planets burning, ships running away, children crying, death everywhere. This is what you called maintaining peace. Historian Lee said, let me show you what really happened. The first image showed a beautiful world with purple skies and silver cities. Happy people lived there, creating art and music. The Crichton homeworld, Historian Lee said, population 50 million. Crime, they refused to give you their mining rights. The image changed. The same world, but covered in fire and smoke. Your solution, biological weapons. Death toll, 49,900,000. Survivors, 100,000. Saved by human rescue ships. General Mordock stood up. That's not what happened. They had a plague. Cultural attached. Park Myung opened her datapad. General, we have your military reports. Would you like me to read them? She began reading in a clear voice. Report from General Mordock, dated stardate 2087.3. Biological weapon deployment, successful, Crichton resistance eliminated. Recommend immediate colonization of mineral-rich areas. General Mordock's face turned pale green. Those files are classified. Not anymore, Captain Lee said. We've had 300 years to gather evidence. The images continued. World after world. Species after species. Always the same story. The hegemony wanted something. The species said no. The species died. The Velmer historian Lee continued. Masters of energy technology. You wanted their shield generators. A new image appeared. Tall, graceful beings with blue skin and 4 arms. When they refused to share their technology, you told the galaxy they were destroyed by solar flares. The image changed to show hegemony ships bombing cities from orbit. The truth, orbital bombardment, but we saved 2 million of them. Former hegemony leader Talvin was in the corner of the room. He was very old now, over 400 years. He had been there when the humans were exiled. I remember you, he said to Captain Lee. You look like your grandfather. Commander Shin Woo-jin was my grandfather, Captain Lee said. He died believing his people would have justice someday. Your grandfather was a terrorist, Talvin said. My grandfather was a hero, Captain Lee replied. He saved over 20 million beings from your genocide. Dr. Choi Hanna had been studying the data. She looked up with tears in her eyes. 47 species, she said quietly. Over 300 million beings. All supposedly extinct. All actually murdered. Not all, historian Lee said. We saved many. Not enough, but many. Ambassador Kim leaned forward. How many survived? Of the 47 species you tried to erase, we saved representatives from 39 of them. The room was silent. Where did you take them? Council Prime Veltar asked. Captain Lee touched his communication device. Admiral Park, please show them. The main screen activated. It showed space, but not empty space. It showed thousands of ships. Massive ships, small ships, ships of every design and purpose. This is 1/10 of our fleet. Admiral Park Soyoung. Voice came through the speakers. We call it the Exodus Fleet. It has been our home for 300 years. The camera moved through the fleet. Some ships looked human, others looked completely alien. All of them looked powerful. 200 star systems. Admiral Park continued. 500 worlds. 1 billion free beings. All the children and grandchildren of the species you tried to kill. Counselor Yoon Jae-ho was crying. We didn't know. We thought you were all dead. You didn't want to know. Cultural Attach Park, Myung said. It was easier to believe the lies. But how? General Mordok asked. How did you survive? How did you get so strong? Historian Lee smiled for the first time. Because humans never give up, and because we had the best teachers in the galaxy. What do you mean? Every species has something special, Captain Lee explained. The Crichton understand energy better than anyone. The Velmer are master engineers. The Zephyrians are artists who see beauty in everything. So we learn from all of them. Human determination, plus the knowledge of 39 different species. We became something new, something better. Dr. Choi Hana was reading the technical data. Your technology. It's not just advanced. It's completely different. We had to be different, Captain Lee said. We knew that someday we would face you again. We knew we had to be ready. Ready for what? General Mordok demanded. Ready to give you the same choice you gave us. Captain Lee said, submit or die. The room was quiet again. Then Ambassador Kim spoke. What kind of trial are you talking about? Culture Attach Park. Myung opened another data pad. War crimes, genocide, crimes against galactic peace. The evidence is complete. Who would judge us? Council Prime Veltar asked the survivors. Historian Lee said, the beings you tried to erase. They will decide your fate, and if we refuse. Captain Lee's eyes grew cold. Then we will do what you taught us to do. We will remove you. You would commit genocide to stop genocide. General Mordok asked. No, Captain Lee said. We would remove your government, your military, your ability to hurt others. The people of your worlds would be free to choose their own future. And us. You would face the same justice you gave to 300 million innocent beings. Former hegemony leader Talvin laughed, but it sounded like coughing. You can't prove any of this in a real court. Captain Lee looked at him with pity. Old man, we are not taking you to court. We are telling you what we are going to do. The time for trials ended 300 years ago when you chose murder over justice. The main screen changed again. Now it showed space around Nexus Prime, but there were more ships now. Many more ships. The deadline you gave us was 24 hours. Ambassador Kim said the deadline was for you to surrender peacefully. Captain Lee corrected. But we never said we would wait 24 hours to take action. Dr. Choi Hana counted the ships on screen. How many? 2,000 ships, Admiral Park's voice said. And this is still only part of our fleet. You're bluffing, General Mordok said. No one has that many ships. Captain Lee stood up. General, 300 years ago, you made the mistake of thinking humans were weak. Today, you're making the mistake of thinking we're few. He walked to the window and looked out at space. We are not weak, we are not few, and we are done hiding. The meeting was over. Outside, the human fleet waited for orders. Inside, the hegemony leaders finally understood the truth. The end had already begun. The Hegemony Council met in emergency session. The room was full of fear and angry voices. We cannot surrender. General Mordok shouted. We are the hegemony. We have ruled the galaxy for 800 years. And killed millions of innocent beings, Ambassador Kim said quietly. That was necessary for peace. General Mordok replied. Council Prime Veltar raised his 6 arms for silence. The question is not what we did in the past. The question is what we do now. We fight, General Mordok said. We call every ship in the galaxy. We show these humans that the hegemony does not bow to terrorists. With what? Dr. Choi Hana asked. They have technology we cannot match. They have numbers we cannot count. They have allies we thought were dead. We have the entire galaxy. General Mordok said. Do we? Counselor Yoon Jae-ho asked. He looked very old and tired. Have you checked the reports from our worlds? Dr. Choi activated her datapad. Her face went white as she read. What is it? Council Prime Veltar asked. Uprisings, she said. On 47 different worlds, the people are there rebelling against us. Imposible. General Mordok said. The humans broadcast everything. Dr. Choi continued reading. Every secret file, every hidden crime, every lie we told. The whole galaxy knows the truth. Now, communications officer on Eugene burst into the room. Sirs, emergency transmission from Fleet Command. Put it through, Council Prime Vel, said. The screen activated. Fleet Admiral Chen Kung-Su appeared, but he looked different. Defeated Council Prime, he said. I have bad news. Very bad news. Report, General Mordok ordered. Half our fleet has surrendered to the humans. The other half is asking for orders to surrender. What? Why, sir? The humans didn't attack us. They just, talked to us. They showed us the evidence. They told us the truth about what we've been doing. General Mordok grabbed the communication device. Admiral, I order you to attack the human fleet immediately. Fleet Admiral Chen was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke softly. General, I cannot do that. I will not be part of genocide anymore. The transmission ended. General Mordok stared at the empty screen. Get me another fleet commander. Sir, Communications Officer On said. They're all saying the same thing. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Captain Lee Taman watched the hegemony fleet break apart. Ships were leaving their battle formations. Some were heading home, others were moving to join the human fleet. Admiral, he said to Admiral Park Soyoung, the hegemony military is collapsing. Good, Admiral Park replied. Commander O, status report. Commander O Sungmin checked his screens. 200 hegemony ships have surrendered. 50 more are requesting permission to surrender. The rest are withdrawing from the system. Any resistance? Negative, Admiral. They're not fighting. Admiral Park nodded, and the planet's 47 worlds have declared independence from the hegemony. They're asking for protection. Send the liberation fleets, Admiral Park ordered. Communications Officer on Yuzhan on Nexus Prime was getting reports from across the galaxy. Sir, she said to Council Prime Veltar, the rebellion is spreading. Every world where we committed crimes is rising up. How many worlds is that? Veltar asked. Almost all of them, On replied. On his homeworld, Fleet Commander Yeo Sangho was preparing the main human fleet for action, but not the action General Mordok expected. All ships, he broadcast. Remember, we are liberators, not conquerors. Our job is to protect the innocent and bring criminals to justice. 2,000 human ships moved out from their hidden bases. They did not go to attack hegemony worlds. They went to protect them. On the planet Critanus, the descendants of the supposedly extinct Crichton people walked in the sunlight for the first time in 300 years. They had been hiding underground, waiting for this day. On Velmoria, the blue-skinned Velmer opened their sealed cities and began broadcasting their music to the stars again. On Zephyria, the artist people started painting murals on the sides of buildings, beautiful pictures that told the story of their survival. All across the galaxy, the dead were coming back to life. Back on Nexus Prime, General Mordok made one last desperate attempt. Computer, he said, activate the station's defense weapons. Target the human flagship. Unable to comply, the computer replied, why not? Defense systems have been disabled. General Mordok spun around. How? Chief Engineer Ko Yunji's voice came through the station's speakers. General, did you really think we would meet you without making sure you couldn't hurt anyone? Impossible. Our computers are secure. Your computers were secure 300 years ago, Engineer Ko replied. We've had a long time to learn about them. General Mordok ran to the window. Outside, he could see human ships everywhere, but they were not attacking. They were just waiting. What are you waiting for? He screamed at the glass. Captain Lee Taman's voice answered from the speakers. We're waiting for you to make the right choice, General, but we're not waiting much longer, and if I refuse, then we will remove you and let the galaxy choose its own leaders. You can't do this. I am the rightful leader of the hegemony. The hegemony is finished, General. The only question is whether you end it peacefully or not. General Mordok looked around the command center. His officers were all staring at him. Some looked afraid. Others looked hopeful. Security Chief Ru Hyanwu stepped forward. General, maybe it's time to stop. Stop what? Stop the killing. Stop the lying. Stop the fear. General Mordok laughed, but it sounded like crying. You want me to surrender to these terrorists? I want you to surrender to justice. Security Chief Ru said. One by one, the other officers nodded. Even General Mordok's own people were done with the old ways. Council Prime Veltar spoke into the communication system. Captain Lee Taman, this is Council Prime Veltar. The Hegemony Council formally surrenders to your authority. Thank you, Council Prime. Captain Lee replied. You have made the right choice. What happens now? Now we begin the trials, and we begin to heal. General Mordok collapsed into his chair. It's over, he whispered. Yes, Captain Lee said. It's over. The age of fear is over. The age of truth has begun. Marine Captain Song Byung-ho led the team that came to arrest the hegemony leaders, but he was gentle. There was no violence, no revenge. You will be treated fairly, he told them. You will have lawyers. You will have a chance to speak. That's more than you gave your victims. As the hegemony leaders were led away, Admiral Park Soyoung made a broadcast to the entire galaxy. People of the stars, she said, today, freedom returns to the galaxy. Today, the weak are protected and the strong are held accountable. Today, we begin again. On worlds across the galaxy, beings who had lived in fear for centuries stepped outside and looked up at the sky. They saw the lights of the human fleet, and they knew they were safe. Captain Lee Taman stood on the bridge of the Indomitable and looked out at the stars. His grandfather would have been proud. The exile was over, the healing had begun, and the galaxy was free. IPLOG 1 year later. The trials were finished. Some hegemony leaders were sent to prison. Others were forgiven and allowed to help build the new government. The galaxy was no longer ruled by one power. Instead, every species had a voice. Every world had a choice. Admiral Park Soyoung became the first president of the Galactic Liberation Council. Her job was not to rule, but to protect those who could not protect themselves. Captain Leitman returned to the stars with the Exodus fleet. There were other galaxies to explore, other peoples to meet, other adventures to have, but they would never forget the lesson they had learned. Sometimes, the end of one thing is the beginning of something better. The hegemony had ended. Freedom had begun.